All right, and I hope you enjoyed that display by my sister Sailor. And as promised, we do have another talented painter right here in the studio, and I'm honored to bring him on. This young man hails from Staten Island, New York, but I think he's calling Augusta, Georgia home right now, so we got another transplant. Yeah, the South. The South shall rise again, as they say. So everybody, the talent is moving from these big metropolitan areas all over the United States. Now we have them right here in the CSRA. Georgia is the new mecca for talent. And so I'm going to prove that during my duration here as host for the Artist Spotlight. Now, as I stated, this man hails from Staten Island, New York. What I know about him, I know that he's a dedicated family man. I do know that he is a former Marine, or I don't think they ever say former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So this guy is a Marine. This guy is also very community oriented. He heads up a group and an organization called BrothaTrav, and we'll get him to talk a little bit about that. If you can see over my, boom, let me get my directions right. This is all different from me. I'm a host, but normally I'm hosting in front of a big crowd, and so what I'll do is I'll just pretend. I got a big old crowd out here, and everybody's here and here and here, and so we'll do it that way to make me feel more comfortable. How about that? All right, y'all agree? Right, okay, thanks. All right, let's bring my man up. Without further ado, brother Beruti Tucker.
All right.
Peace, my brother.
Peace, my brother.
All right,
Blessings.
okay. All right, he's Brother B to me. And what we're gonna do without further ado, we will walk towards the paintings that he has here. Okay? And I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, my brother.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Now, I read some interesting things about you, and what was intriguing to me is the process before you create a piece of art. You know, as a poet, usually I do go through a little creative process as well, but it was interesting to read all these things that go into the thought process before it actually turns out to be a complete piece. Can you explain to the people
what have you read?
Your process?
What have you read?
I know it was something having to do with brainstorming and an outline and more. It was more stuff. So
Right. Well, like you, we are story writers.
Yes.
And a lot of times, story writers, we depict stories from life. And from that depiction, we add what our experiences are and we personalize them.
Absolutely.
Because we're all human in this connection. So what we do is go from the connection to the oneness and then personalize the stories so that it can influence others on some level or inspire them on some level.
Right. I asked a question on Facebook the other day. And I asked it to writers, but it can also apply to an artist as well.
Okay.
When you create, are you creating for yourself, or are you creating with the listener or the viewer or the reader in mind?
I think it's all of the above.
All of the above.
And once it's created, it's no longer yours. And the process really is to actually free yourself from the idea that you are creating it. Mm-hmm. You're not creating it. You're actually a messenger of that creativity. Right. Because the creator sends the messages into you, and you receive it, and then you transmit it into the community.
Transmit.
Right.
Okay. All right. And so me knowing you, and just from what you just said, I'm gathering that you are a very spiritual brother. Am I correct in saying that?
I would say that.
Okay. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I also read that you don't use a paintbrush.
No, I don't.
You have an interesting medium. You have an interesting way of getting these oils and paints and acrylics on this canvas.
Yes.
Without the use of a brush.
That's right.
Okay. Can you tell the people how you do that?
I use what I call now, this technique that I call a finger.
Fingering.
Well, I say a finger.
A finger.
A finger.
Okay.
Because I'm using a finger.
Just one.
Just one. And this process is, I mean, you know, it's funny how the operative word is process, because it's a making of something. And I use oil pastels, Sendler oil pastels, and onto illustration board, which is categorized as art board. And what I do is I apply the oil pastels onto my finger and paint from there. I normally lay down a foundation, and after that, using whatever subject matter I have in front of me, I paint what I see.
Okay.
I don't draw or outline anything. I just apply the paint onto the board.
Right, right, right. And there's a reason that you say you don't use a brush.
Yes, there is. I don't use a brush because, one, it used to hurt my fingers. The way that I write and the way that I hold a pen or a pencil or a marker, it's very clumsy the way that I hold a pen and pencil and marker. Much like a left-hander, but it gives you a visual illusion of a left-hander when I'm writing my right.
I've been told such as well. I kind of write, I'm right-handed, but I kind of come across like this. And it's a little awkward. And actually, an interesting story. My mom said that I started out as a lefty as a little baby, and because they knew that I would have a difficult time throughout life being a left-hander, they forced me to be a right-hander.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair. And when after a while, I discovered that I can paint with my fingers in college because they would not take any of my work that I produced in my assignments because the curriculum did not have a grade for painting with your fingers. Right. And I learned that I could do it well because all of the work that I was putting out was much of the work that it stayed within the criteria of the demands of the professor. But he wouldn't take it because I painted with my brushes. Okay. And he told me that I would never be successful. The work is going to be muddy and it's not going to work out. And I just stayed with it. I've seen some work that's been done with oil pastels, but not as detailed. Right. And I encourage people to really, really just paint, regardless of what tools you wear or hold in your hand. Just paint, create something.
And don't you just love that negative criticism when somebody's like, you'll never amount to anything, you'll never, I actually had someone tell me that, and aside from being a poet, I'm a career salesperson. I have a degree in marketing and management, and I've been in sales for almost 20 years. I actually had a sales manager who says, you'll never amount to anything. You'll never be able to sell a pen to somebody who can't write or whatever. So I'm like, what are you saying? So I didn't argue with him, but it motivated me just as well as it motivated yourself. So those of you young people out there that people are saying you can't do something, use that as your fuel, correct?
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, without further ado here, you've got some very interesting pieces, and I'm gonna get you to describe these pieces, starting with this one up here at the top. This looks like a young lady who is relaxing. Right. She is in her comfort zone. Right. Is what I'm depicting.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
This is a portrait of a basketball player. I can't remember the college that she went to. She probably knocked me in my head for not remembering. But she not only is a basketball player, but she is also a creative artist in fashion. And I just wanted to capture the moment of her relaxing because of her height. She stands about 6'3", I think. Wow. And normally in this society, in the world of ugliness and beauty, when you see a tall woman, you don't actually see her in terms of her femininity. So I wanted to show the world this feminine energy of this woman. And here she is laying in this moment. And I asked her in that moment, as a matter of fact, to think of something or someone that makes you happy, something that they do or who they are that makes you happy. And I used these colors in the background, the red, black, and green, that complements the culture of our community.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, she definitely looks like whatever thoughts are going through her head are very pleasant. So
yes.
she did a good job of being a model.
Yeah, and she's Nigerian, just a beautiful human being.
Okay, so what I'm trying to understand, and I'm just still trying to get the fact that you're painting this stuff with your finger, right?
Right.
Because I see very small, thin lines like eyelashes.
Right.
How do you do that with your finger?
I do that with my finger. The fingers that I truly use is this finger and this finger. I use the pinky finger for the details. And what I do is just go into the eyelids with my finger. Sometimes I use my nails.
Okay.
I actually put paint underneath my nails to actually get the fine lines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I still find that so fascinating because I'm one of these people, I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to my hands. When I was a small child, my mom would say that I would run in and out every 30 minutes going, my hands are dirty, you know? And still to this day, you know, I eat pizza with a fork and a knife.
Right,
why? Because my fingers will get dirty by eating pizza with my hands. So it's one of those OCD things, but yeah, cool. All right, and we've got a little bit more time.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and put both of these up here if you don't mind.
Very good.
And so that way we can let the people see how talented and diverse you are.
All right.
Okay? Will that one stay? Okay. All right. Make it do what it do.
That's right.
All right. Okay. So this one.
Okay.
This is a nature piece.
Yes.
But there's also a human-like figure in there.
That's right.
Can you explain that to us?
Well, we are living beings of growth, and we're the only living beings that choose to grow. Many animals and foliage, nature grows because that's what it does. But we're the only living beings that can choose to grow. We grow in the body, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we grow in mind and spirit and emotion. So this young lady represents that moment of showing her creative growth within herself. She struggled with her self-image, so what we wanted to do was capture this moment in her introspection about who she is as a woman, who is a full-size woman, full-figured woman, and she was very inconfident. And so I placed her in a tree, and the tree is about nurturing.
Okay.
It's nature, it's nurturing. So the tree is actually nurturing this growth. And here she is introspectively growing from within.
All right. Okay, and winding down the interview here, you've got one more piece that you brought along, and this looks like some action and activity here. Something's going on here. Maybe you can explain this to us.
Okay. Well, this is a family from Haiti, which is my lineage, my background. My family is from Haiti. And we have a man that's pulling a cart. And what we do as illustrators, we take different references and merge them together. This came from a photo reference, like all of my work. And what I do is, this was two separate situations. One situation where the guy's pulling the cart, the other situation where a family was actually sitting next to a tree.
Oh.
And what I did was I put them together as I painted them, and there you have it.
Right.
The piece is called Daddy.
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 Daddy's working hard.
Daddy is working hard.
You can't complain about what we're doing these days here,
That's
sitting
right.
behind a desk when you see Daddy doing this
Daddy
right
doing
here
this thing.
in Haiti. So that's real work.
And the direction of his eyes is really about him and his focus, where he is going.
Absolutely.
With his family.
Absolutely.
His family can do whatever they're looking at the scenery, they're looking around, they got some attention. Here's a child that's actually engaging in you as you look upon his father pulling the cart.
Straight ahead.
So she's like, yeah, my father's putting in work.
Straight ahead.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Brother B, very interesting art. I'm blown away by what you have here.
Appreciate that, brother.
Okay, and I've seen some of your other works too, so I would like to have our listeners and our viewers to be able to go and see some of your other works? Is there a way that we can get out there and see some of the stuff that Brother B has created, as well as, you know, some people may have, you know, they may want you to create something for them. Is that possible?
That would be beautiful.
How do we reach out to how do we reach out to Brother B?
I appreciate that, brother.
Okay.
That's Art by Beruti, ArtByBaruti.com. Art by Beruti.com. My telephone number is 706-373-9927. And I do commission work, I do family portraits. In terms of family portraits, what I do is called portrayals, which means that I place you in an environment such as this, or whatever. If you have something in mind, I can do it.
Okay.
God
And
bless.
so speaking of commission, some people may not have quite an idea of what's
commission work is a request from the patron. The patron asked if I could do a portrayal of them, and yes, that's
so you were able to create works starting at, you know, we're in a recession here, so people are budget minded with the gas prices like $4. So how much money do I have to come see you?
A piece like this of this size is about $300.
I paid that much for a tattoo.
There you go.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right. So brothers and sisters, Art by Beruti.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
God bless.